Hey guys, I'm going to quickly review function notation, which you learned in Algebra 1. So what you see right here is called a function machine. In the middle is the function f of x equals x squared minus 2 times x. And you'll see up top that the number 4 is the input to the function. Okay, so when you see input, I want you to think of x value, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 4, which is our x value. I'm going to color code. You're going to take that 4, and wherever you see an x in f of x, you're going to replace that x with a 4. All right? So I'll repeat that real quick. We're going to put the 4 in for x wherever we see an x in f of x. So the reason why we're doing this is we want to see the resulting output. The output is down in the lower green arrow with the question mark. We want to know what number results when we substitute in 4 for the function f of x. All right, and this will be a y value. Let me write that quickly. So inputs are our x values. Output would be our y values. Okay, so let's see. Let's input 4 for x and f of x. All right, so I'm going to do that up here. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put 4. So this is how you would say this. F of 4, meaning the y value at x equals 4, is equal to 4 squared minus 2 times 4. And it's good to put parentheses wherever you see an x. Just that's a good habit to have. Okay, because negatives can be pesky sometimes, as we'll see in the next example. All right, so now let's actually do this. 4 squared is 4 times 4, so that's going to be 16. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So here we have 16, which we got from 4 squared, and negative 8, which we got from negative 2 times 4. 16 minus 8 is 8. So here's how the function machine works. When we substituted in 4 up here for the x in f of x, when we substituted it in, we ended up getting 8 as our output as a result. So the number down here, we no longer need the question mark. This is going to be 8. All right, so whenever you input an x value, you get back out a resulting y value. All right, so you could also say that a point on this graph, f of x, is the x value, comma, the y value. So 4 was the input x, 8 was the output y. So this is a point on the graph of f of x. Now let's do the same thing with negative 1. If we input negative 1, which is again an x value, and for all the x's in f of x, what is the resulting y value or the output? All right. Now remember, put those parentheses. Okay, it's going to be tricky with this one because we have a negative. So same thing, f of negative 1, which means the y value at negative 1 is equal to negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1. Okay, negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 will result in positive 2. So here we actually have 1 plus 2. And we know that 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So we input negative 1 for x and f of x, and as a result, we got 3, which is our output. All right, so when the machine gets a negative 1 and it goes through the machine, what pops out is a 3. So remember, this is the y value. So hopefully you know now how to write this as a coordinate pair as a point. So a point on the graph, another one, in addition to 4, 8, which we got when we substituted in negative 4, is negative 1, that was the input, comma 3. All right, so the first number in parentheses is always the input. The second number is always the output. Okay, so there's another point on the graph of f of x.